Well, welcome to another 101 with AFROPOLiTAiN magazine. Today we are receiving the very talented beauty blogger Lisa Joy, and we're going to discuss beauty, Africa, and a bunch of different topics. Lisa, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. How's New York treating you?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty
a little
good?
cold, a little chilly, but
Yeah, I thought, you know what, last week we had a good weather. I thought spring was on our side
yeah.
and fell off.
But yeah, that's New York for you. That's why I love it.
That's
So,
why you love it?
yeah.
Okay. All right, all right. So let's just drop right into it. So you're from Kenya
Yes.
and you lived in North Carolina for a little bit. How do you, and then now you're based in LA if I'm correct?
Yes.
Okay. How do you basically, as a Kenyan woman, identify, and how do you see yourself within the, video beauty creator industry?
Yeah, so I think beauty in general is very much ingrained in like African culture. Like we see it in like different hairstyles and just like different like ways that women embrace their beauty through like jewelry.
Yes.
And coming from Kenya, I've seen beauty embraced in many different ways. A very popular one is like the Maasai women, like
Yes,
when they wear
beautiful.
like these like very colorful, beautiful jewelry pieces. And so just coming from that kind of background, I was already like introduced into like different ways that you can embrace yourself.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when I was very young, my mom was very much into like makeup.
Okay,
and, like,
that makes sense.
skincare.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
Right. And then, she always used to have like a makeup bag. I used to play in her makeup bag and like mess around with her makeup, which she didn't like. So that's just how I was like really started like getting into admiring like different colors, different textures. It's just playing in my mom's makeup bag.
I know she was probably pissed, like, that's expensive, girl. Don't.
Yeah. And then like messing up her lipstick. Like I rolled one time her lipstick and applied it and then I stuck it back without like rolling it back.
And that was
She
it.
was pissed. Yeah, but yeah, that's just how like I started just getting into beauty.
Okay, well, before you got into beauty, you wanted to be a doctor, so you even got the test. So how do you went from like, let me be a doctor to, you know what, actually let me be full-time in the beauty industry?
Right. I grew up in a household where education was always enforced. Like you have to go to school, you have to like get like either be a doctor, lawyer, like typical.
I was about to say typical African parents.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So it's like it was something that I knew like I had to like pursue a career within education, and one of the ones I was very interested in was biology, and I always wanted to be a doctor just because I enjoyed learning about the human body.
Okay.
I don't know if I was super passionate about being a doctor, but I enjoyed learning. And so like around 2020 when COVID happened, when things were slowing down, prior to that I was like in the process of like doing my medical school exam, getting interviews. Then once things started slowing down,
like you can,
I had free time and I was like, let me do YouTube, because I had already started my YouTube channel in college, but I just never had time to
do
like
it,
really do it because it was fun. I was doing it just for fun. And so during COVID, I was also doing it for fun. And then I was like, wow, like I started seeing like potential for it to be like a full-time thing.
Nice.
So I just decided to focus on it. It was just like holding on to like a little bit of hope that maybe
something can
come out of it. Yeah. And I really enjoyed it. So it was just something I was doing for fun. And then here we are.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Nice. So before I ask my next question, all of the beauty acts, I have to say, Lisa made me spend a lot of money before I even knew that I was going to interview her. So that was funny. So we're talking about viral makeup hacks. How do you basically, and then you have a lot of followers, you give feedback, you ask questions. How do you keep your content fresh? Like, what's your process when you want to create? Like, how do you pick your product?
Yeah, so it's all about having fun with it, and also just being inspired by your audience and like learning them. So I spend a lot of time like even just like reading like data, like the analytics from like different platforms, just to understand what my audience likes and what they don't like. And so slowly over time, just like learning those things, you start to kind of like know automatically like, oh, this is something that they love. And therefore, this is something that I should do more often.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So is there, when you say you listen to your followers, meanings like when you build up your content, you kind of like, how do you split? Like, okay, I'm going to focus on face this time. I'm going to focus on eye, or you usually go for like a full face type of tutorial.
I just kind of like mix it around.
You mix it around?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mix it around a little bit. I also like write down ideas, and then like when I'm ready to film, I just come and I sort out the different ideas. And sometimes actually I get inspiration from like I remember like, oh, I used to struggle with this, and then I create content out of that and how I've learned how to make it better.
Yeah.
You know, so I make content out of like the mistakes I used to make in the past.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So with your content, obviously you're getting a lot of like recognition in the industry. Brands are watching your work. Like, how do you feel about, you know, brands contacting you to work with them? The collaboration that you just did, for example, with Rare Beauty, with Valentino Beauty. How does it feel for you to being able to do such a level of partnerships?
Honestly, it feels very surreal because these are brands that I've honestly never imagined that I would work with, like especially like right now, because it's like just brands that you dream about, like, you know what I mean? Like brands that when I was in college, like I used to be like, oh my gosh, like I really want these products. Like they were always on my wish list because like the products were amazing, and you know, I loved like I just loved beauty and makeup in general. Yeah. So it's like now that I get to work with these brands that I've admired for such a long time, it feels very surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good to hear, and also basically even more as a, you know, black woman or a dark skinned, you know, woman. Like, do you feel like the industry in general made progress when it comes to that?
I hope that it does. We have seen a lot of progress from when even like 10 years ago, even like back in the day when I was in like middle school and high school. We've seen a lot of progress, but I do think that we need still a little bit more inclusivity when it comes to representing people of all different skin tones and different skin types, and even just different ages in general, like different demographics.
See, I never thought about age when it comes to makeup.
Yeah.
That's a good point of view.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a little bit more representation in all demographics, and especially even like the darker and brown skin. You know, I think we still have a long way to go, but there has been progress, but we still have like a long way to go.
And out of all of the collaboration that you did, do you have one that was very like special to your heart, like one of your favorite moments?
Like collaborations as in partnerships? As
in partnership, or whether it's a brand or something that was I would say a milestone for you within the beauty industry?
For sure. The biggest one was the Rare Beauty campaign that I did, because it was just, it's crazy because when we were doing the photo shoot, I thought I was the darkest contour shade.
Really?
Yeah. And so I tried it on, I was like, wow, this is really dark. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they were like, yeah, we have another one that's even darker.
Oh,
and
so they were like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I was like, what? Like, are you serious? They're like, yeah. So that to me meant a lot because it's like, it made me feel like I'm not only included, but somebody who's even darker than me is also part of it, like also can be included in these campaigns. So I think that was like one of the biggest ones, the biggest moments. Yeah.
That's actually very comforting to hear that there is a brand that really trying to push the limit and, like you said, include everybody from the lighter to the darker skin, because you know, everybody loves a little makeup.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You know, I'm happy that the industry is making progress, or at least working for that.
Yeah.
And obviously we're talking about, you know, inclusivity, but with your work and your beauty tip, and you were talking about how you love to educate yourself. How do you feel that, how do you like use your content to uplift, you know, your community, and how do you also balance being an influencer, being an entrepreneur, being a black woman? How do you kind of, you know, move around this whole environment?
Right. I think for me, the biggest thing that I always try to tell myself is like being an influencer is not just being online and being popular. It's more about the difference that you can make in people's lives. So it's like more about empowering people, about inspiring people, giving content that is valuable, that somebody can take with them for maybe even like the rest of their lives. They're like, oh wow, like, you know, this is something I learned when I was like this age. So it's more about like the effect that you're giving your audience, not about just being popular or just like creating content for fun or for yourself. It's more about for your audience.
As you're talking about being popular, I wanted to ask you, what does, influence mean to you in 2025, and also especially as an African woman and on a global level, like where do you place yourself?
Yeah, I would say influence means about it's more about the positive impact that you have in people's lives. It's about the influence that you want to bring. So like there are different types of influence. You can have positive influence or negative influence. I think the most important for me is having a positive impact on people's lives. And as an African, as a person who's very much underrepresented in this type of industry, I think just giving people, showing people that they do have a chance. Like, as long as you're using your voice to speak positivity and speak great about the whatever you're doing, whether it's within the beauty industry, fashion industry, if you're feeling underrepresented, like using your voice to really empower women and inspire women, I think that's the biggest, I would consider biggest influence.
But I like how you're talking about using your voice. And is it hard as as we see, as a Black woman, as an African woman, when you get to those offices and you talk to the people within this industry, do you think that they listen to feedback? Do you think when you guys sit down and say, "Hey, I've been trying your product. I don't like I don't like the way he was on my skin." Do you feel like industry listen to you guys as representative of I'm not going to say you represent for all the Black women, but as a Black woman who has that visibility, do you feel like the industry is listening?
I do think that some brands that I've worked with do listen, and I do appreciate brands that do include even creators, because a lot of them know what they're talking about because they try the products, they know what they're looking for. And I've seen brands really incorporate a lot of the feedback that you're giving them. I think the issue sometimes is them just not having people in those spaces to tell them those things. Like, I think if you have a very diverse team, like you wouldn't really miss the mark.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, like, because somebody's going to point it out. Yeah. So I think the most important thing is for them to have people in those spaces to really call out certain things that aren't
working for
the community and the consumers.
I guess in all of the brands, and I'm talking about more like as a client, is there any like brand that you think that really stand out the most as far as like having a full range of representation? I know you talked about Rare Beauty. Do you have any other brand which you feel like they are, they shift the game in the beauty industry?
Yeah, there's so many brands, very many brands. Some brands are not even like very popular. Some of them are very low key. They don't have to be like super big, but you just have to find them. You know what I mean? And then like try to like use your voice for those brands, because I love when brands have a message behind why they even started the brand. Okay. And that's for me one thing that I look for, like
the storytelling.
Yeah, like why did you start the brand, and what impact do you want your brand to have? And there are so many brands that are not only inclusive, but they have a positive impact. Their goal is like for instance, Rare Beauty has like mental health awareness.
Nice.
So that's the reason. That's like the whole kind of like awareness behind the brand, which I absolutely love.
I like that.
So it's more about the message, what the brand represents, and also inclusivity.
That's nice. Well, we're talking about brands. I want to get more into the personal, more personal question. Your husband Kevin is like your number one fan. How does it feel for you to have his support? He's helping you. As African women, sometimes we don't, necessarily have that, from our husband who are, Africans.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel that he's like your number one supporter? He's always, by your side when you're out there.
It's really helpful because we work together as a team.
Yeah.
And so he's not only like working with like just editing my videos, but we work together to even like figure out like all the data and just to analyze things like average view duration and how we can improve the content.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to like have somebody who you can work with to like help you better your content.
Yeah.
And I think it's important also like as a beauty creator to have an editor that you can actually like sit down with and tell
really
him,
just chop it up and
chop it up and tell him like, oh, this is how I like it, this is the style, and him learning how like the style of execution that I like, and also him adding his input to help like better your content. I think it plays a big role when you're working together. Yeah.
That's nice. Like he might just become a beauty influencer himself one day. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
So I know you are traveling to Kenya soon. Do you have any plan to push even more what you're doing back home?
Like, what do you, I'm sorry?
As far as like the beauty industry in Africa, which is a little bit different than what we have in the Western country, and you being, you know, from Kenya, do you have any like plan to potentially like develop things back home as far as like, you know, pushing your video content more with, I don't know, maybe African brands or be more present, I will say, within the African continent?
Yes, definitely. I haven't really like focused too much on like more African brands, which is definitely something that I wish to do a little bit more often. I do wish like it was a little bit easier to access those brands here, in the U.S. But definitely, I think if you are somebody who hits a global market, I think it's better because it's like you're able to have a little bit more of an influence, especially like as a Black woman. We have a lot of Black people in Africa, so it's like it's a bigger market for like beauty because a lot of Africans are into beauty, of course.
Absolutely.
You know, so I definitely think like in the future, like hitting a bigger market, like even just like being more there and doing like more like even like just like master classes and like bringing more, kind of tying in the Western culture with the African culture when it comes to beauty. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking forward to see that happen.
Yeah.
I have a question, two questions actually. What would you tell your younger self as far as like, you know, who you are now and maybe like things that you didn't know before?
I would definitely tell myself not to limit myself. I think the biggest mistake that for me looking back, it's like I would always put myself in a box and be like, oh, this is like the only area where I can kind of like be comfortable in, and not trying to limit yourself will allow you to go further. You know, because it's like if you think bigger, if you think more for yourself, you'll try to work to hit those goals and accomplish more than you would ever imagine. You know. And so I would definitely tell myself not to limit myself and put myself in the box.
And then, would you have any advice for someone who wants to start in the beauty industry, potentially as an influencer? What kind of tips would you give that person?
I would tell them to go for it. And I would definitely tell them, don't focus on going viral. Going viral is good, it's fun, you know, it makes you happy. But at the end of the day, what matters the most is community, because community stays. So you can go viral like 5-10 times and grow really fast, but if you don't have that community, you can't sustain that growth. So it's important for you to remember, like, it takes time. Like, most of the people that you see that have like real success in this industry, it's like people who've been doing it for like 10, 15 years.
So it's not an overnight success.
It's not an overnight success. You don't want an overnight success because then when you're going high and then you come all the way down, it's like, it gets depressing. So it's
you're crashing basically.
Pretty much. So it takes time. You want to build a community and do it for fun. Do it because you love it and not because the benefits that you might get out of it. Well,
we talked about beauty and everything. I want to know if Lisa Joy can cook.
I mean, I think I can cook. I think I can cook. I try to make a little something. I'm definitely not like the chef person, like, you know, whipping it up. I'm definitely somebody who follows like recipes.
It's fine too. I mean,
I follow recipes and I try to make stuff. You know? But I don't know if I can say I can cook. but maybe in my head I can. Yeah.
That's fun. So I have a question that I usually ask, and maybe that's something that I should have asked you before, but I like to ask all of my guests to teach me 3 words in their dialect, or in the language.
In my language?
Yeah.
Just three words?
Yeah, I was about to say 3 easy words that I can remember.
Okay. I don't know, like jumbo. I think you know that one.
Jumbo, no?
Oh, really? Jumbo means like hello.
Okay, hello.
Yeah.
In
Kiswahili.
In Kiswahili, jumbo.
Yeah,
okay.
Jumbo.
So you speak Kiswahili?
Yes.
Okay.
I speak Kiswahili because I'm from Kenya. So jumbo means hi. Nakupenda.
Nakupenda. I heard that in the song.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means though.
Yeah, I love you.
Oh, that's the easy one.
Yeah.
Nakupenda. Okay.
Nakupenda.
I can remember that.
Yeah. Asante.
Asante.
Asante means thank you.
Thank you. Asante.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Nakupenda, asante, jumbo. Okay.
Oh, you're good.
I got my 3 words. I got my 3 words. I got it. I'm about to say that to somebody.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Lisa, well, it was a nice conversation. Do you have any positive, something to say to close off this interview?
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
It
was a pleasure.
Honor. Yeah, it's such an honor to be part of this. Anything positive that you guys can give or just show to others. I think we're in a moment of time where like servicing other people and caring for other people is very important. That's something I'm also learning to do a little bit more often is like to not be selfish and always just think about yourself, but also thinking about other people, your neighbors, your friends, your family. Check up on them and love on them because you never know what somebody is going through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Lisa, for being with us, and I'm looking forward to hear your news. I'm looking for more money to spend on your beauty hack.
Hopefully you're not spending too much and blowing your money on it.
I pick and choose, I pick and choose.
Yeah.
I pick and choose. But, I buy, and it's funny because I buy, and when I see, obviously you're a black woman, we're almost the same complexion. So for me, I'm very visual.
Yeah.
So when I see things, and I'm like, oh, that looks good on her.
Yeah.
And then I go ahead and I try, and I'm like, oh my God, I like that product. So,
nice. Okay,
so
glad to hear.
most of the things that I did buy after watching your video, I was super happy with the results. So
okay, perfect.
That's what I'm like.
As long as you like it.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Lisa.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.